there is what is called a global response in the Freedom of Information Act in the US. That global response means that the agency is allowed, even without checking their documents, not to confirm or deny that they have a responsive document as pertain to the request. So they are allowed neither to confirm or deny. Why are they fighting tooth and nail? This fight has been going on for quite a while. Why are they fighting tooth and nail? To prevent documents or information that Nigerians need to know about their president. We must agree that for somebody to be blackmailed at that level, there must be very serious dirty dealings that the blackmailer will have. So we can narrow down anything that they have on him that can lead to blackmail to two things: the drug business and the agent business. Up till tomorrow, nobody has clearly explained the stupendous wealth of, apart from its link to the drug this thing, which have a limit. The drug trade has a limit.
Hello, welcome to Jibrin Angle on OWELEKETV. My name is Jibrin, and this is my angle. Let's welcome Barrister Austin Manta, a very senior legal practitioner of over 40 years in practice. He is also a very, very senior current affairs analyst, or public affairs analyst, as you wish to call it. And welcome, Barrister Manta, for joining us once again today.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's go straight to the point. We shall be talking about the latest development on President Bola Tinubu's credential issue, and that has to do with background issue with his drug case in the US. Before I ask you some questions about it, Barrister, let's read the news. The news says, I think this is the news originally is from Sahara Reporters. Okay. It says the headline of the news says U.S. court confirms CIA's position on Bola Tinubu's past records. The news reads, in a recent ruling by the United States District Court for the District of Columbia, American intelligence agencies asserted that Nigerians have no right to unfiltered access to information regarding President Bola Tinubu's past, particularly concerning alleged drug trafficking investigations. The case, which has sparked controversies, centers around requests for full disclosure from the CIA, FBI, and Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA. On a record tied to Tinubu. According to Sahara Reporters, this development stems from a motion filed by Nigerian journalist David Hundeyin, who has been leading efforts to obtain unredacted information on Tinubu. In a social media post, Hundeyin reported that the CIA, FBI, and DEA had submitted a joint memorandum on Monday, arguing against the release of sensitive details on Tinubu. According to Hundeyin, the CIA's filing includes language suggesting that Nigeria's sitting president may be an active CIA asset. The intelligence agency's stance hinges on national security arguments. The CIA memorandum emphasized the potential risk associated with confirming or denying Tinubu's involvement with the agency. Quote, human sources can be expected to furnish information to the CIA only when they are confident the CIA can and will do everything in its power to prevent the public disclosure of their cooperation. Read an excerpt from the memorandum. Now, this is a quote from the CIA. Human sources can be expected to furnish information to the CIA only when they are confident the CIA can and will do everything in its power to prevent the public disclosure of their cooperation. Okay, no, not this is not a quote from the CIA, it's a quote rather from the lawyers. Um, it further cautioned that exposing Tinubu's potential ties could endanger both him and his contacts, warning that official confirmation of that cooperation could cause the target to take retaliatory action. In addition to the CIA statement, the DEA argued that while Nigerians deserve transparency from their government, they do not have the right to unrestricted access to their president's personal background. We oppose full, unredacted disclosure of the DEA's Bola Tinubu's heroin trafficking investigation records because they do not have a right to know what their president is up to, the agency stated. Anyway, it is the news reads on. In order not to waste our time, Barrister, when I read this news, I was startled. Honestly, I cringed. I think that's the right word. I don't understand. Did we just, are we, did the CIA, DEA, FBI insinuate that Tinubu is their agent? Is that what is that what it means, that they seem to Tinubu seem to be working for them or with them?
Well, I think what you read is majorly the analysis of the journalist of what happened in
Yeah,
court.
but that's what
Now,
I'm saying. Is it that's why I use the word insinuation?
yes, let me put it in context. The agencies involved, that is the FBI, the CIA, and the DEA, they both utilize exemptions in the Freedom of Information Act. Those exemptions are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in that order. And when you want to plead the exemption so that you will be allowed not to release the information, you have to come under one of those exemptions. Now, in this case, all the three agencies came under exemption 6 and 7 to for court to allow them not to disclose the responsive information or documents. Now, exemption 6 is disclosure of records that constitute unwarranted invasion of privacy. That is the exemption 6. We have no issue with that. Exemption 7 is records of information compiled for law enforcement purposes. Now, under that exemption, there are a series of subheads. The last one is the one that is the main issue here. One of them is interfering with law enforcement proceedings, depriving someone of a fair trial. Now, the last subsection under it is disclosing the identity of a confidential source. You now understand where the journalist is coming from.
Yes.
So, in other words, since they are not particular about a subsection, they just came under section 7 and exemption 7 and 6. And under exemption 7, they don't want to disclose the identity of a confidential source. In other words, they don't want to disclose the identity of their spy, their informant, or their agent. So it is that particular subsection that the journalist is emphasizing, maybe taking into account all the circumstances surrounding the issue. Now, you have to go further to say that there is what is called a global response in the Freedom of Information Act in the US. That global response means that the agency is allowed, even without checking their documents, not to confirm or deny that they have a responsive documents as pertain to the request. So they are allowed neither to confirm or deny That's what they call the global response. So this is what happened in court. They don't need to go and check their records. They can just come under that global response and say they are not confirming, they are not denying that they have those records. Now, it is that exemption 7 that talks about they don't want to release the identity of their sources, their informants, their agents, and you can understand why. No security agency would like to disclose sources of information. Nobody who is giving information to a security agent wants his identity to be published. So you now, where they can argue that they did not specify the actual reason. They just came like this. But then we, the public, as well as the journalists, we are entitled to speculate. If we take the whole circumstances, why are they fighting tooth and nail? This fight has been going on for quite a while. Why are they fighting tooth and nail? To prevent documents or information that Nigerians need to know about their president. It is idle and futile to say, oh, Nigerians have a right to know what their government is doing, but they do not have a right to know what their president is doing. That is an idle and futile argument. It does not make sense. In the they cannot make that argument in the US. The whole president of the US, his life, his feeding, his going out, his exercises are matters of public domain. Why should they come when it comes to Nigeria to say we are not entitled to know what our president does in private? It doesn't make sense. And for the fact that they have been fighting tooth and nail for this couple of years to prevent the release of that information, it is entirely within our competence to suggest that probably that is the reason why they do not want to release that information, that he is their source. And you can see where the journalist made that publication.
Yeah, sorry. The quote I read earlier is not actually from the lawyer. It's from actually I think yes, lawyer to the FBI, to the U.S. government, that is CIA, FBI, and the DEA. Is not. I thought the quote is supposed to be from the journalist. Yeah, okay. That quote that says, human sources can be expected to furnish information to the CIA only when they are confident the CIA can and will do everything in its power to prevent the public disclosure of their cooperation. Read an excerpt from the memorandum. So that is a quote from them. I think the CIA gave reason why they cannot release. They
That
cannot.
is a quote. That is a quote from the lawyers. But the story in the press, the story online, that Tinubu is an asset or a source or an agent of the ABI is
Yes.
by the journalist David Hunde. He's the
Yeah, now
one that read
because
the
that is what
conclusion
you
into
people,
it.
yeah, that's what you lawyers call lacuna. The moment you create a lacuna, anybody can think anything within that space. If you are not opening up to the public, either affirming or not affirming the issue, the story on the story, the relevant story or the relevant matter at hand, obviously you are giving room for permutations, for different
Exactly.
conclusions and conclusions and assumptions. A sort of so
Exactly. Exactly.
whatever we assume, of course, but the truth, the reality is obviously it is not. Tinubu is not. It doesn't, because it doesn't make sense. It cannot. I don't think Tinubu is a CIA agent. That man cannot be a CIA agent. That's just the truth. The only thing I know is I've said it earlier, even before he was sworn in. Said it on this platform that the West will blackmail. That is why initially they were not supporting him. The first, when prior to the election, they were not. The West was just on the slide, the entire West, including the US. They were just on the sideline. They were just on the fence. They were neither supporting Peter Obi or whatever. Everybody just they folded their arms and watch what will happen. But eventually they found out, they realized that after the election and Tinubu bulldozed his way to power, and it was announced, they found out, it dawned on them that, hey, we can actually use this guy, especially when Nigerians has been pursuing. Probably Nigerians were the ones who dug out the issue that had to do with his background. And US saw, okay, of course, they are the owner, they are the ones, the custodians of Tinubu's background record. So as such, they obviously saw that, or they know that his background is dirty, is filthy. So as such, they can actually use that to blackmail him. And that is the reason why I told you that if it were Donald Trump regime, Donald Trump government, I am telling you, they could have released. Donald Trump could have ordered that for that or and there is no. I will still have. Thank God that Donald Trump has won the election. I still suspect. I still expect and believe that Donald Trump will order for the release of that record, because that Donald Trump is someone that he has disdain for corruption, and that is one of the reasons why he had issues with Ukraine. He has issues with the African countries because he don't feel they are most African countries are corrupt, and that is why he has issues with the current government of the U.S. That's why he's always, because of, it has to do with corruption. Yeah, and that is why that is the essence, that is the purpose of Donald Trump's second coming back to power. That is the truth. Is I think they are black. I said it before, and that's just the reality. US to decided to blackmail, to use Tinubu's background against him, and that's why they are holding him by the balls. They are the ones controlling him through the controlling Nigeria's policy, international, global policy, and even local policy through IMF and through other means. A sort of so through either directly or indirectly through the West by proxy through UK and Britain. The truth is, we can never, under Bola Tinubu, we can never be independent of the West. The West will continue to rule us. The West by default or by proxy. The West will continue to have their way as long as we have Tinubu, because you cannot. And the same thing we are talking about Joe Biden. Joe Biden, that is, he has a corrupt background with China, with Ukraine, with other countries, together with his son. How do you expect him? How do you expect him to rule well? Of course, China will be blackmailing him. Obviously, Ukraine will be blackmailing him. And that is why, what do you expect? And that is why you see Ukraine, he's just all out fighting in favor of fighting Russia or Ukraine, giving them everything they need, weaponry, giving them finance money to fund all those things. Why? Because people are black. Look, this is the reason why presidents that have dirty background are not expected to win election, are not even expected to contest. That's why the law is against it. But unfortunately, these powers that be, they always have a way and make a way to circumvent the system, the legal system, and install themselves. That's exactly what happened in Nigeria. That's exactly what happened with Joe Biden, and unfortunately, that's exactly what happened with Bola Tinubu as well. So unfortunately, the current governments of the US and Nigeria are under blackmail. Why the US is blackmailing Tinubu as such, as a result, massively influencing both our global and local policies. China is on one side blackmailing Joe Biden. That's just the reality, and it's unfortunate that it is just. But honestly, I do not believe that. When I read it, it sounded. I don't know why the journalist could. That is not a smart thought. Let me be frank with you. Anyone that thought that in that line, it's not an intelligent thought. That's just the truth. Tinubu cannot. It's not. It doesn't. I don't think. Is an agent of the CIA. That's not. Look, CIA agents. Anyway, I would not. I don't. I'm not even ready to go into that. That's not the issue. Barrister, do you have anything to?
Well,
do you agree with me? That's the right question.
I do not entirely agree with you. Why, on the one hand, you say that they are blackmailing Tinubu. On the other hand, you foreclose the idea of him being an agent. Now, we must agree that for somebody to be blackmailed at that level, there must be very serious death, dirty dealings that the blackmailer will have. Now, in this instance, we know of the drug business. Now, that is one angle of it. The other angle could also be that, of course, he was their agent. I personally do not want to rule that out for two reasons. His stupendous wealth, unexplained wealth, is one thing. Then the fight that these people have put up to uh, negate the disclosure of that information. So we can narrow down anything that they have on him that can lead to blackmail to two things: the drug business and the agent business. The agent, you don't even have to be a brilliant person to be a spy or an agent. There are a lot of things that anybody can do for agencies like that. A lot. So I do not entirely agree with you that he cannot be. Up till tomorrow, nobody has clearly explained the stupendous wealth of, apart from its link to the drug this thing, which have a limit. The drug trade has a limit to
Now,
which he
now
could go.
let me ask you, because one thing is to be an agent, another thing is to be is to be blackmailed. These are two different things. You can be an agent without being black. Sorry, you can be blackmailed without being an agent. These are two different. Now,
Of course, I
blackmail.
agree with that.
The blackmail I'm talking about is this man has committed crime in the past, and he has a record of the record. Probably they have the record that proves or that proved that he committed this crime. Very detailed record. So what will be the reason to actually, okay, there will be usually sometimes they actually FBI, ACI, that's where they operate. They can go free one hardened criminal from jail just to use him or her as a spy or whatever. Probably that is what you are implying here. Honestly, I reiterate, I do not see any sense in that. What I see is that US government has something, a dossier against Tinubu, and they realize that they can use it, they can use it against him as a Nigeria's president to control him. And that is just it.
I agree with you on that level.
And the stupendous
I
wealth
agree
you are
with
talking
you
about.
on that.
Yeah, but hold on. The stupendous wealth, the questionable wealth, or the questionable stupendous wealth that Tinubu has. Look, we all know that the wealth became stupendous after he left governor Lagos State governorship as the after 8 years of serving as the governor of Lagos State. That is when the wealth. We all know. Okay, he worked with Mobile International as an accountant. He was rich. There's no doubt about that. As an accountant, relatively comfortable. Then he became a senator. He was a senator and became. The wealth came. There are two ways. He became wealthy through drug, and through governorship. So I do not see that he's stupendously wealthy. Does not. I don't see CIA as a yardstick for his stupendous wealth. I don't see CIA being a CIA agent or a spy, CIA spy as an avenue for him to have amassed the kind of wealth he amassed. No, we all know what happened. We all know that up to today that Bola Tinubu is still actually siphoning, just robbing Lagos State government of billions of naira every month or every quarter. Still goes to him. A sort of. So I don't, honestly, I still do not see sense in that. I reiterate that honestly, I do not see any chance, any iota of chance of Tinubu being a CIA spy. Honestly, I don't. Barrister, you can finish, round that up.
We still continue to speculate. The only thing that has come up documented that we can hold on to is drug trade. Any other thing is in the realm of speculation. So what we are saying as the agency is entirely speculation. The only thing we can hold and say, okay, they may have info against him to blackmail him is the drug one that we know, which is documented. Any other thing is
But
just
let me
analysis
even
and
ask you, Seb.
realm of speculation.
I don't even know why these journalists. Anyway, I can understand sometimes journalists they just want to. That is their profession. Sometimes some of them have passion to really investigative journalism. They really want to actually get to the truth, even if the truth will not amount to anything. Because at this juncture, this man, we wanted this thing from during before the election. This man is already our president. He has bulldozed his way, forced himself on us, and he's going to do the same thing, unfortunately, come 2027, barrister. Anyway, um, that is it for now. Let's move to the next topic, barrister.